Hello, my friends. Today I am back to recap the latest episode of All Stars 10, Rappin' Roast. Now, this episode was just good, plain fun. So let's get into it. There's a lot to say. The queens walk back into the workroom after the Lydia vs. Tina Burner lip sync, and it's time to hand out some MVQ points. I think it's safe to say that the pink bracket is my favorite, purely for one Mistress Isabel Brooks. She says in confessionals that she refuses to live in a world where Tina Burner has more points than her, and honey, she meant it. Kerry wants to honor her Texan alliance with Georges and Mistress, and Nicole Page Brooks from Atlanta, Georgia, never forget, wants to engage in some flip-floppery. A point for a point, if you will. And this is where things get wild, because Nicole gives her point to Mistress, and Kerry gives her point to Georges, expecting the same in return. But no, the pair pull a dirty fast one and give the points to each other. This is how you play the game. It's good gameplay, it's shady, it's perfection, it's delicious. Nicole Page Brooks, face crack of the century. The girls will know better for next time. And so at this point in the episode, we have Georges, Mistress, and Tina on 2 points each, and Lydia on 3 points. And none for Kerry and NPB. Speaking of Georges, she mentions in confessionals that she's a little bit jealous of Lydia Butthole Collins. Uh-oh, someone isn't the favorite anymore. So it's a new day in the workroom, and Mistress officially adopts Lydia as her new drag daughter. She has earned her respect, and that means a lot in a game like this. Nicole, however, is still salty about not getting a point, and she says to Mistress that she shouldn't throw around her name like that. But Mistress claps back and says, what has Nicole's drag family done of any significance? Ouch. Tina says moving forward that Mistress and Georges need to make the first move before anybody else does, and that's fair. But Mistress isn't worried. She says her and Georges will be in the top anyway, and the edit was goddamn there. At that moment, Rue enters the workroom and announces that for this week's Maxi Challenge, the queens will be putting on a rapping roast. They will need to serve up a badass rap to a funky beat that reads their all-star sisters to filth. As the winner of the lip sync, Lydia gets to assign the order, which is a huge responsibility. Also, sidebar, when Rue announced that Chapel Roan would be the guest judge, Nicole Page Brooks looked like she had no idea who that was. As the queens prepare for the roast, Mistress says that this is very much her thing. I remember when Mistress did one in retaliation to Bob the Drag Queen, it was very good, so I wasn't worried about Mistress at all. Speaking of Mistress, she's a little devil on Lydia's shoulder, encouraging her to be messy with the roast order. But Lydia knows you don't win friends with salad. If everyone hates you, you're not going to get very far in a game like this. Kerry wants to go last in the roast, ending with something a little bit different. She wants to roast without naming anybody. But Tina also wants to go last and has a semi-alliance with Lydia. Well, Lydia ends up putting Tina first. She puts Kerry last over Tina because Kerry promises her a point if she's in the bottom. Tina no longer knows how solid her alliance is with Lydia, and this looks like a point of contention for the preview in next week's episode, but we'll get to that. At that moment, Chapel Roan enters the workroom, surprising the queens. I just love how much Chapel uplifts local drag. I just love her in general. I'm a huge fan. She's such a legend and a genuinely real person. As the queens get ready, Kerry opens up about her strained family ties, remarking on how her mother doesn't use her correct pronouns with her daughter. This is why chosen family is so important. Remember, you do not owe your blood anything. So on the main stage this evening, we have RuPaul looking fantastic in this leopard print gown. I love this. And Michelle is also wearing leopard print, but I don't really like this on her. I think it's a little bit washed out. We have the hilarious Ross Matthews and, of course, Chapel Roan. And so it's time for the roast, and in my opinion, Georges, Mistress, and Lydia were the best. I also really liked Nicole's rapping roast. Tina did well, but I couldn't understand her, and unfortunately Kerry completely missed the prompt. Category is Little Shop of Whores, and I gave my top 2 to Kerry Colby. Unfortunately, they have not released the proper drag race photos as I'm filming this, so I had to use these photos on Instagram, crediting Based624 here. My god, Kerry looked so gag-worthy. Her body is insane. I loved everything about this look. So it's time for the judges' critiques, and up first we have Tina Burner. The judges loved her performance, but I do have to agree with Michelle. She packed way too many lyrics into her roast, and I could not understand her. I watched Drag Race with subtitles, and if I did not have subtitles on, I wouldn't know what she was saying. Her runway was stunning though. Tina has really stepped up her drag, and I love how special this was in relation to her mother, who was diagnosed with dementia. Georges is up next, and the judges absolutely loved her performance. You could really see that confidence from All Stars 9 in this rapping roast. Her runway was cute too. It sort of reminded me of the weed one that she did. Next up is Nicole Paige Brooks, and she's also commended for doing really well. She was more understated and slower paced in her performance, which helped everybody understand her. Her runway was really cute too, but I would have kept this on. I think when she took it off, she sort of hindered herself. One, it took way too long to get off, and two, it was basically a plain white catsuit. This is the draggiest I've ever seen Nicole Paige Brooks though, so props to you, mama. Up next is Lydia, and she was another standout for me. Michelle says that Lydia looked nervous, but I didn't see that at all. She also said that Lydia was unclear in her delivery, and even Chapel Roan disagrees with her here, and I have to agree with Chapel. I actually think Lydia was the clearest of all of them. It does make me wonder if they wanted to justify keeping her out of the top spot. They didn't want her in the top again, so they used these critiques that don't really hold any weight. Then we have Mistress, and she was my favorite in the challenge. Her lyrics and delivery were impeccable. I think they were the most well-written and intelligent lyrics as well. Runway was fire too. I think Mistress does really well with proportions. And last but not least, we have Kerry, and as much as I love this look and it was my favorite, she was the weakest in the challenge. Her strategy to be subtle by not naming names unfortunately did not pay off. Where are the roasts? Back on the main stage, Georges and Mistress are the top two, and I agree. Lydia could have been up there as well, but I think they tried to justify that with her nerves. And I think Nicole maybe was let down by her runway. They performed to Hot to Go by Chapel Roan, a crowd favourite. And in my opinion, Georges completely took this one. She even looked very Pink Pony Club in her getup. It's the perfect pocket rocket song suited to little Georges. However, Mistress and Georges both end up winning, earning themselves a half point each. This brings their totals to 4.5. And I don't agree. To me, this was not double win worthy. But what did you guys think? This is the first episode of All Stars 10 where I felt production was heavily intervening. That's not to say that Mistress and Georges didn't deserve to make the top two, but I don't think that they both deserve to win the lip sync. By giving them half a point each, this pretty much guarantees that they will both make the merge, which tells me that production really wants both of them to continue on. And because we know that Georges and Mistress now have no chance earning MVQ points, production are lending a helping hand on the main stage. Either way, I loved this episode. It was super messy, but in the best way. I love the rapping roast. I thought that was a great idea, and I'd love to see it done again. Drama was excellent, runways were top tier, I was living. Next week is the last Pink Bracket episode, and I'm not ready to say goodbye. The queens will be starring in a rusical, and I have to say, this bracket got some of the hardest challenges. A rusical, a roast, and a design challenge? Oof. Let me know what you thought about the judging this week, the performances, the top two, the lip sync. Give me all of the tea, and I'll be back very soon with another video.